and today I'm going to make a basic kale chip recipe. Now you can make kale chips in either the oven or the dehydrator. I prefer to make them in the dehydrator for the nutritional benefit of consuming the kale in a raw form, and also because I think the consistency comes out better. But you're more than welcome to use your oven. If you do use your oven, I recommend the lowest possible setting, which is probably around 140 or 200. Maybe open the drawer of the oven so that it lowers the heat a little bit. So the lower the temperature, the longer you would cook them. I would start around 15 minutes, going all the way up to, if you're gonna cook it around 300 degrees, I wouldn't go more than 8 minutes. So you can just sort of figure that out if you're using your oven, or maybe find some reference on the internet somewhere. So I'm going to start by showing you just how to devein the kale easily first. You're just going to hold the stem at the very top and then pull with your pointer and your thumb all the way down so that you have the stem left. When I first started this, I was cutting the kale out of the stem, which takes a really long time. So you really just need to pull it after you grab it from the end. And then after that, you'll want to wash your kale, and then we'll show you how to make the cheesy kale mixture. So we're making a basic cheesy kale chip recipe today, which I use cashews as the base for cheese. This is a vegan recipe. We're also going to use some nutritional yeast, which is high in vitamin B12, gives it a little bit of a cheesier flavoring. This is a good vegan supplement for cheese. We're going to use liquid amino acid, which is really just a substitute, a healthier substitute for soy sauce, but it has amino acids in it. You can also use tamari if you'd like a soy sauce flavor that has a gluten-free option. We will be using some apple cider vinegar, as well as a 1/3 cup of lemon juice. I like to juice my own organic lemons. The vinegar and the lemon juice will help to break down the kale to make it easier to digest. So kale in its raw form, like you get in the store, can be a little bit hard to digest. So when you massage the vinegar and the lemon juice in with it, it just breaks it down a little bit, making it easier to digest. And then of course, when you put it in the dehydrator versus the oven, it still has that live enzymes in it to help digest it as well. So that's just one more benefit of a dehydrator if you're thinking about getting one. We'll also add some olive oil to it and a little bit of salt, and then you also have, this is an option that I've used before, coconut vinegar. It's just another option to apple cider vinegar. So our recipe today is going to be 2 bunches of kale, 1 cup of cashews soaked, which I soaked these, 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds, which have already been soaked. If you don't have sunflower seeds, you can just do 1½ cup of cashews. If you're sensitive to cashews, you can do 1½ cup of sunflower seeds. You can just convert it straight across. I like to use cashews because they're creamy and they don't have as much of a flavor. The sunflower seeds can sometimes be a little bit bitter, just depending on the type that you buy. So just keep that in mind. 1/3 cup of olive oil, 1/3 cup water, 1/3 cup lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of the nutritional yeast, 1/4 cup of the Bragg's amino acid or soy sauce, just to give it a little salty flavor, a pinch of salt, and then optional from there, you can choose your choice of flavorings to make it really any way that you want. You can choose some fire roasted sea salt to give it a smoky flavor. You can choose, I have an applewood smoked sea salt. I just have a couple I like to choose from. You can use some curry masala to make it curry flavored. So you can really just get creative from this basic recipe that we're gonna do today. So we'll add the mixture together for the cheesy mixture for the kale chips. We've deveined the kale and broken it up into fairly small pieces. You don't want it too small because it will crumble. So we'll start by adding 1/3 cup of water right here, and 1/4 cup vinegar. I like Bragg's amino acid. You can see, or the Bragg's brand. I've got their amino acid, their vinegar, as well as their nutritional yeast. And we'll do 1/4 cup of the amino acid. Again, you can use soy sauce if that's something that you already have. This just has the extra benefit of amino acids in it, so I like to try and get as much nutrition out of it as I can. We'll do 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Again, I like the Bragg's brand. Whoops, maybe a little extra. 1/3 cup lemon juice, which is about 1 lemon juiced. And last we have 1/3 cup of olive oil. A good tasting olive oil is important because you'll taste it on your chips. And then lastly, we'll add the 1 cup of cashews, 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds that I soaked. Now again, you can use 1.5 cups of cashews if you like, or 1.5 cups of sunflower seeds. Really the important thing here just to remember is that we want a thick pasty consistency. So it's almost like we're making a paste, like a hummus consistency. So you can look in here, we've got everything mixed together. You can add a dash of salt if you want, just kind of a magic ingredient, but you don't have to. Soy sauce has plenty of enough of a salty flavor. You can add some seaweed flakes or some flavor, whatever you like. But for this, we're just gonna stick with the basic recipe. You'll blend for about 30 seconds. So after you blend your cheesy mixture, this is a little bit watery. You can definitely have it thicker than this. You could add more cashews. But the most important part is going to be the massaging of the kale. So it's like the consistency of a dressing almost, or maybe a little bit thicker. And you want to taste it before you do all this. Make sure that it tastes really good. But if you look inside the bowl here, you can see I'm massaging the kale to help break it down and make it nice and soft. And then if you're using a dehydrator, from there, you'll just put the kale chips on the dehydrator sheet, or you can put them on a baking sheet lined with parchment papers because the kale chips will stick to the pan and they will burn. And then from here, if you're using the dehydrator, I'm just gonna put it in on 115 and it will go 8 to 12 hours. Again, in the oven, I would choose the lowest setting and probably start around 10 minutes and work your way up to 20 minutes. Everybody's oven's different, so you just have to stand by, but you don't want to overcook them in the oven because they will crumble. So I hope you enjoy, and actually this tastes really good itself. If you want like a cheesy kale salad, that's what this tastes like. It's like a cheesy Caesar salad with kale. And I hope you enjoy. I'll make the chocolate almond coconut kale chips next week. Thank you.